Okay, sorry about that, guys. I got kicked out of World vs. World. Obviously, this whole new system's really great if you want to do anything else, but you know, if you want to spend a few minutes talking about a guide, which actually got a lot longer than I thought. I'll just finish off the tanky guide for you. Talking about experimental turrets, obviously I went through how many buffs you get, but it's the combination of them all, as well as the fact that when they die they will be doing damage, so it's just the way you change the tide of the battle. That being said, I'm pretty much up to date with why this build is good. The whole point of it is you stick in bomb kit 90% of the time and you just keep putting the pressure on constant. It's constant ticking pressure rather than bursty pressure. You can do a little bit of burst with turrets blowing up or whatever, but that's not the way we want to do it. We want to do constant team support pressure. So you can tactically put down smoke fields, or blind fields even, that will blind everyone that's in the melee train, and it will just keep the pressure off you. You can do the same thing with the flame turret. Just eases the pressure off your team. That's the point. You want to ease the pressure off your team while being able to maintain pressure on the enemies. Confusion doesn't do a lot at the moment. It only lasts for 5 seconds, but that's 1,000 damage every skill they use in that 5 seconds. Again, it's quite a bit of pressure, but this is obviously before we start stacking might. Might will bring that pressure up a little bit more, and it just gives you that, just that little bit of extra like oomph on the enemy team. While I'm doing that, while I'm running that build, I tend to run star cakes and maintenance oil. You can go high maintenance oil. I find that this is the best maintenance oil for cost effectiveness. As you can see, I've gone through and key farmed quite a bit, so I managed to get quite a few different different, like, you know, buffs and whatever, but you know, I just keep a few on me at all times. Just makes it a little bit more effective. So yeah, take star cakes and maintenance oil. Actually, the star cakes give you that 20% extra magic find. Magic find's a little bit of a weird thing, but you know, anything extra is always good. The other options you can take are, because of the way that we're critting, potentially 50% of the time, you can take different foods. Omnom berry pie is a good one, but that is completely your choice. If you aren't running a celestial build, that means you're not going to have much crit. Change the maintenance oil to sharpening stones. That's the word I was looking for. So change that to sharpening stones and you will be better off that way. But again, this build can be used with the celestial set that I told you about at the beginning, and you know why we use celestial sets. And then it can be used later on with power, toughness, vitality, and a cleric's mix. So soldier cleric mix, sentinel cleric mix, or nomads. Nomads will give you the huge survivability, but will give you no pressure. That's why I've picked celestial, because celestial in this build, technically what you want is power, healing power, toughness, vitality, precision, a little bit of condition damage. We don't put a lot of conditions out, but conditions we are still putting out, confusion and burning, as well as a little bit of ferocity to give your crit hits that little bit extra oomph. So actually we want to use all the stats as much as possible, and it means that we can change our traits. So that is the tanky build. So next I will be showing you the damaging, one of my damaging builds, and that is the standard 66002 build. And what we want to do is, this is going to be a condition based build. You can do it as a power based build as well with with celestial gear, but I find that actually power based is a little bit more condition based, sorry, is a little bit more like effective, because you can put the pressure on, move back, pressure on, move back, pressure on, move back. You know, you don't have to constantly sit there putting the pressure out. It works a little bit better because you'll have that constant ticking. You can keep them in combat for a little bit longer. You know, it means that they have less chance to recover. So first of all, we take shrapnel. Then we want to take incendiary power, and we want to take grenadier. Now the only ones that I would change in this is if you want to go a little bit more power based, take explosive powder. If you don't, just stick with a pretty standard build. It's very condition based. Next one we want to take is precise sights. It gives you the extra vulnerability that you need to put more pressure on. So actually the 10% that you'll be getting from that will be covered by this and this at the same time. Explosion is called vulnerability. You'll get 25 stacks instantly. The next option you can take is infused precision, which gives you swiftness, which gives you the chance to move around. You will have it up all the time as long as you're fighting. And the next one is sitting duck. Sitting duck's pretty useful. There's another way you can play this as well, but it's not as strong, so I would personally go for precise sights. Follow that up with, this is where the complete switch comes in. What you can do is, if you're going condition based, you take coated bullets and you will use dual pistols. If you want to go rifle, you take rifle mod. Pretty simply. If you're not sure but you want to stack a little bit of might, you can take Juggernaut and take a flamethrower as your third kit. It's actually quite fun to run with a flamethrower because it just keeps that constant pressure on. It gives you a little bit of control, it gives you a little bit of survivability, and you're stacking up your might more. It also means that you can change incendiary power to enhanced performance, which means you can get even more stacks of might, or you can take explosive powder and get extra damage from explosion. So actually it's a really good choice to go for a trip kit idea. Flamethrower is not that strong unless you specifically trait into it, but it's the synergy that works with other kits, and I'll explain that why. But right now we are going to go for coated bullets because of the pistol shots, and it's pistol that I want to use. And then next you want modified ammunition. Modified ammunition gives you a 2% damage increase for each condition on a foe. If you're working with a necro, you're going to have them all running all the time. That means you're going to have a minimum of 10% damage increase. 10% damage increase on top of everything else is pretty big, especially in World versus World. And then finally, speeder kits. Speeder kits is the best one to take. Some people would say that, you know, you could go for better options, but yes, you can go for better options, but what's the point of going for a better option when the best option is speedy, going for other options when the best option is speedy kit? Because what you want to do is you want to get round as quickly as possible. This turns this into a roaming build as well. It means that you can get into the towers quickly, you can dodge your way in, you can run around on top of the towers quickly, get in and out of trouble quickly, and put the pressure on where you need it. That's why we take speedy kits. Some people would say, because obviously I'm using celestial stats as well, if you take blood injection, gain condition damage based on your vitality is a good way of amping up your condition damage. And then obviously energized armor is a good way of amping up your power damage, but you will lose out a little bit on movement. So they're your choices. You can take those. Pretty much this bit here is a little bit more optional, but this is the core of it. And what you want to do is you want to take grenade kit, bomb kit, and obviously if you're running the flamethrower, you take the flamethrower. If not, you take elixir U, and there is a reason for elixir U. You can also take throw mine. Throw mine's quite effective. It can boom strip, and it can do a knockback. But you pretty much, this one here is optional. You could take toolkit if you wanted to. It's a good option. You could take elixir B if you wanted more constant pressure. You could take elixir C. You could take elixir R for extra dodges. Pretty much it's a very optional one, and it depends on how you've built in the first place. I'm going to pick flamethrower now, just to show you the synergy of the build. If I go into flamethrower, everything else is self-explanatory. You take Juggernaut and you take explosive powder. The reason is because this is where you get your burning from. Incendiary ammo. It's a lot longer. Oh, bear with me a second.